Thank you everyone for joining us. This is your HEM Education Marketing Solutions webinar called Engage and Enroll using video ads for student recruitment success. Thank you for taking the time aside. Happy to have you here. If you're not familiar with HEM Education Marketing Solutions, we're a full-service digital marketing agency, and we, for 15 years, have focused on serving the education sector exclusively. So we serve all types of schools, career colleges, language schools, K-12s, universities and colleges, and we serve schools worldwide in multiple languages. We're happy to be with you today, and thank you for taking some time aside. Our team is really the group of experts who helped put together this webinar content. We have teams in each one of the bullet points you see before you and services or systems in each of those categories. So it's really anything online that can help to impact and improve, really, the organic or paid presence online of your school. So that could be ads, could be SEO, your website, your social media, organic or paid, and also a CRM and an application portal and SIS for schools. So that's us and who we are. My name is Scott, and I oversee our work with schools in Canada and the US. So welcome. Today in our webinar, we're going to be focused, of course, on video ads. And we're going to begin by really walking through the overall marketing landscape. We'll then break down the types of ads, benefits of video ads, and the psychology behind these ads. We'll also address some common challenges and solutions, and of course, talk about maximizing ROI and measuring metrics to make sure this is worth our time and effort. Just a note, really at the beginning, that you will receive a recording of this webinar in your email either tomorrow or Monday. And you'll get in an email access to this recording and also to the deck. So some of the videos, they play easily and they play clearly. We're going to show a few videos during the course of this webinar. Others kind of pixelate. They take a while to load just because we're working through multiple systems here. So you'll get an opportunity to see them for yourselves and straight on through and clearly when you go through the deck itself, because they're embedded into the deck. So that will be helpful for you as well. Let's get started, shall we? Oh, the last point, kind of a housekeeping point. Your mics are muted, and I apologize for that. It allows me to kick through all of the content that we have here. But I would like to hear from you. I'd like especially to hear your questions. So in the Q&A prompt in Zoom, type in your questions, and please don't wait until the end. Type them in while it pops in your mind at any time during the webinar. And at the end, I will go in, open up Q&A, and I'll see your questions and be able to work with them there and answer them. So let's get started. In today's marketing landscape, the role of video ads and kind of just the realities we're facing. Some of these points are not necessarily new, but they're always pretty mind-blowing, such as video accounts for 82, almost 83% of all global internet traffic. That's a lot. That's amazing. And it just reinforces why we're all here. Of course, you're familiar with the platforms, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Facebook. Really every platform has a video pathway and a video tool within it, and editing tools for that matter. So I know you're quite familiar with that, but this is where everyone's going to see it. And the other point that's important is that the attention spans, unfortunately, are shrinking. What was about a 12-second attention span that you could expect them to hang on for at least that long is now down to 8. So that is, again, just the realities we're working in. Another really interesting one is that mobile devices account for more than 75% of video consumption. So 3 out of 4 folks are watching your video on their phone or on their mobile device. And The other aspect to that is they're holding their phone straight up. That vertical viewing has been normalized now through TikTok, Instagram, again, YouTube Shorts. So it's now common that your video and any online marketing video, if you will, is going to be vertical, whereas the movie or TV show is going to be horizontal. So really, you're shooting for vertical in everything we do. The other realities of the marketplace is that videos that are personalized, relatable, and relatively social are going to play best and perform best for you. Audiences, especially Gen Z, they really crave that authentic content. And it's important to be seen, right? You want to have them hang on for that 8 seconds, and it's really going to need to be as authentic as possible for them to do so. You're going to hear this term a lot in the next 30, 40 minutes, user-generated content. And this is not, pushing it off to other people to create your videos for you entirely and you sit back and relax. It is more of a strategic approach. We're going to talk about how to pull this off in terms of utilizing, your team, your students to help to tell your story and to share your story. And that's where that really comes in the middle there. They become your storytellers. It's so much more authentic and relevant and useful, well received, when a member of your student body, your alums, your instructors are the ones speaking on behalf of the school, not any administrator, so to speak. And so it really comes down to, are you achieving transparency? And are your viewers receiving a genuine experience from your video? And I want you to think of it in those terms. As a result of doing those things and being vertical and being on those platforms, you're going to get a higher CTR or click-through rate. You're going to get better engagement metrics overall. And you're going to, as a result, get an increase in inquiries and applications. And that's ultimately what we're after here. So it's that proven driver of ROI. That's the reason we're here talking about video ads. If you've been to HEM webinars before, we like to ask you a few questions in the process. So our poll number 1 for you is to ask you, is your school currently using video ads as part of its recruitment strategy? Are you doing student recruitment through video ads today? So it's an anonymous poll here. So just tell us, is it yes regularly? Oh, occasionally? Not yet, but you're really thinking about it, or is it a no, flat out not yet? And so the votes are rolling in. Thank you for being here. It's also a good time to remind you, you'll get a recording of this webinar when, either tomorrow or Monday in your email. All right, so let's close up the poll, share those results. It looks like a majority of you are involved in video. Yeah, for sure. And then a few of you are kind of in that not yet, but you're really looking into it. This content will be helpful for you in the webinar ahead because we're really going to be talking about the how and the why, right? In terms of great examples. We'll look at a lot of examples of video, but really just more of the strategic mindset behind how we're going to pull this off and what it's going to do for us. Why are we taking these actions and what it's going to do for us? So thank you for voting. And I think you'll all get a good, mix of information today. We will start with the types of video ads. So we're going to start really to define that term I had mentioned before, UGC, user-generated content. This refers to content created by your students, by your alumni, by your ambassadors, not by the administration of the institution. Because, as we said, it's more authentic, relatable, it drives engagement far better than other ads because of that increase in trust and authenticity. So we're going to show you a few examples of this in a few different ways. The first example plays to the folks who say, we haven't done this yet. Because typically, if you haven't done this yet, you probably don't have a student, alumni, or ambassador who's video friendly, who's already started working with you to help create videos for the school. And in that case, you may say, gosh, I'd love to do some user-generated content, but I don't have the users quite yet. And you want to select carefully, I understand. So this first example is actually one of your options in that case. And that is, there are people who will receive your script and record videos for you, acting as if they're a student. It's not in a way that they say they're a student. They do not misrepresent in any way, but they'll basically talk back and forth or basically script out and act out what's great about the school. What are the unique value propositions of this program at that school in a way that feels very genuine and feels a whole lot like a conversation, so to speak. So this is an example of that type of video. Let's take a listen.
Wouldn't it be great to start a digital business, work on your own time, and get to travel whenever you want? It's actually easier now more than ever. Wait, really? What do you mean? You just have to become a digital marketing professional. It's a career path that will enable you to escape the 9-to-5 and create your own digital business. No way, tell me more. Available online or in person in Surrey, Cumberland College's Digital Marketing Diploma program will give you the sought-after skills you need to thrive in today's business world.
So I'm going to pause it there, and there are a couple of things here. So this is a script you write, so you have control over what's said. They would do the acting and the editing, and you could send it back to them. I see a few edits in here that I'd say, hey, I want to do without that edit, please. And can we do it another take? Or, you get to approve it, of course, before it goes for you. And those are the benefits of having someone who you're hiring and paying a bit, but you're just paying a relatively small amount to these actors who aren't necessarily Uber influencers. They're not bringing with you their audience, but what they are sharing with you is their ability to communicate to a screen. So this is an example of that option. If you don't quite have your own users that can do the UGC content, this is one of your options in the first go round. So let's go to the next example. And this is what we call a hype promo video. These are the fun ones because they dazzle and delight everyone. They're great for unveiling a big announcement or promoting a big event, an open house, or a new program. So they're a lot of fun in that regard. This one's a big one. So that first video was about 40 some seconds. This one's more like 2 minutes plus. I'm going to let this load a little bit. It always kind of jostles there. So let's see if it's now going to play well. I'll play about 30 seconds for you, and then we'll talk about it. I like that last student especially because he looks very unassuming. He's very much down to business. Turns out he's your pilot. So he's an important player in the video. So clearly this is professionally shot, professionally edited, and it's more than 2 minutes long. You could have a 10-second version of this. In fact, this school has a 10, a 15, a 30-second version, and the long play 2-minute. In fact, they also were doing a campaign with them next week to release the director's cut, which is, I think, 7 minutes, which is awesome. It's just fun to see everything going on at the school. But it's a great way to get the most out of money spent with a professional videographer and editor. So, look at that as an option in some cases. And again, this will be great for you to look back on in the deck for when the time permits that you're able to do this. Next one. The next slide talks about how you're going to go about doing this yourself. So granted, that was professionally done. You could do some of this yourself. And what I recommend you do is start simple. Just, in fact, create a video yourself with your phone with these types of, the top images you could capture around your campus, inside the school, of your students, etc. And then make some quick cuts, add some music, perhaps animation. You want to work to keep the energy up, keep the viewer engaged. And what I recommend is you build one for yourself first that isn't for release, that you're not going to put on social media. Why? Because that takes the pressure off you. It means you can just kind of play. And it's important if you're going to use these editing platforms below, and some of them have free versions, and then they upgrade to paid versions. So you make the choice what works for you and what you work best in. So take a look at these, and it really matters the more you play or test, and that is test shots, test audio, test editing, test adding music and animations. You get more used to that video editing platform and you get better at it. And your second video is going to look stronger than your first. Your fifth video is going to look stronger than your fourth. So take that into consideration. And what I also recommend is do one video per topic. So one per your facilities, one for your faculty expertise, if that's what you want to feature, and a separate video as well for the hands-on learning experience, for example. So think of it in that way to segment those unique selling points or value propositions of your school. All right, here's another strong one of the student and alumni interview. Let's go ahead and let this one play a little bit, and then we'll talk about it as well. So I'm going to let
my name is
here. So you'll notice that this shot is professionally done. And by that, I mean, it could be done by a hired videographer. It also could be just a well-placed tripod and a well-placed microphone. You see, he's got a microphone clipped to his scarf. That's a super important point because it allows you to get professional level audio, not using the microphone that's within your phone. But you could use a clip mic like this and plug it into your phone and it would work. So this is a combination of a nice steady shot like this combined with, and you'll see the user-generated video in here as well. Let's watch a little bit.
Admin Shahadi, and I come from Lebanon, and I'm studying for my master's program in computational science. I am interested in fluid dynamics since I come from a mechanical engineering background, and so hopefully I hope someday that after finishing my degree here, I would get the chance to pursue a career in computational fluid dynamics.
So we get a little bit of his interview in the library, and then we get him out on the picnic. We get him taking the train to school in the morning. So, it's a great combination of those two. Here's another important point I want to communicate. This video is 125. The other videos we've seen already, one was 210, the other was 45, I believe. There is no golden number if you were to ask, how long should my videos be? It's important to have a variety. It's also important, shorter is better, of course, because we said, it's 8 seconds of attention span. I mean, essentially that just requires you to make that first 8 seconds have an element in it that's going to grab their attention. So think that thought. But, sometimes it's just not fair to try to do an alumni feature in 29 seconds. Sometimes it takes 1:25 to get a better feel for this person, why they love it, why they're a great fit, what their experience is like. So what I'm saying is try to go for shorter. Shorter is better, but any variety of video times, there may be good reasons for going up to 125, and you get to make that decision along the way. So when it comes to those student alumni interviews, it's kind of the unstated element within here is that it shows how proud you are of their achievements. You may feel like you're imposing upon your students or your alums by asking them to do something for you. Think of it the other way, is that they're being selected among many to be one of the few that would be a spokesperson, a representative, so to speak. So, don't forget that element of it. It's an important piece of of utilizing a student, because all of that student's friends and family are going to flock to see this video, right? And they're going to share it to other people. That's part of the equation as well. So it's not only connecting with their authentic success story, but it's also basically tapping them and saying, you've been selected. And you don't need to be, too proud about that. Just show them that, you are happy to have them as part of the team and speaking on behalf of the school. It's also a good idea to choose your own people over big time paid influencers who have millions and millions of followers, just for the relevance of it all. Your own family, your own students and alumni are going to perform better than any paid person. For those of you who haven't stepped into the video world yet, you may be wondering, well, wait a minute, I don't have any video to use yet. Can I use stock footage? And stock video is really just, we call it canned. It's video of other people doing other school-like things in school-like atmospheres that basically would be used to represent your school. Our answer to that is, of course, it's going to be cost effective because you don't have to hire a video crew. You're really just purchasing a small, and sometimes it's free, but often it's for a small purchase amount to just get some video that you can use to share so that you have some video in the game or in the e-marketplace on behalf of your school. So utilize it to provide general information or tips. This is a good example, and I'm going to go ahead and let this play. Doesn't have any audio to it at all, and it's really just a short clip. This is like a 6-second clip. What they've done with it and what we recommend you do, if you can find someone in the video stock that looks like someone who could be your student. So this is a nice general type of an image. It's well shot. It's nice and professional. It's not extreme in one direction or another in terms of who they are or what they're doing. So it's a great middle of the road example that could be used. Put your logo, your school logo in the top. Put your unique value proposition in that 100% online, no GMAT required. And voila, you have a video ad. It can be as simple as that. And it's a good way to get started if you can find some of that stock that you think works within your school. So just want to cover that topic to that degree. And now we're going to talk about the benefit of these video ads in educational institutions. Of course, one big benefit is to get more attention. And I want to let this video play, and then we'll talk about the attention grabbing aspect of this video.
So the expedition involved 44 participants. That included 15 PIs from around the world and 30 trainees. And we performed experiments on ourselves.
Okay, so this is not what you would call the sexiest video, right? It's a gentleman in a sport coat who's clearly a member of the faculty just sitting and chatting about what they do. But consider it's an ad that appears in your LinkedIn feed. So you're scrolling, and there's really nothing going on. If you're a prospective student looking for a research and a live out in the field research opportunity like this, even this first 14 seconds has you probably grabbing your attention. So it doesn't have to be, all the craziest edits and flashing lights in terms of get more attention. It's really more about what is most relevant to your prospective student. What are they looking for, seeking, and literally searching for? Because if your ad shows to them in that case, we've got background, and you watch the rest of this video, you'll see not only the shot of all the students out in the field, which we've already seen, you've got shots later in this video of them hooked up to all these research, they got things plugged into their heads and their shoulders, all these things that are like transmitting I'm not sure what it's transmitting, but it's awesome, right? So it's engaging to the point of it's very real. And it's very relevant. So that my point there is it doesn't have to be crazy.
So the expedition involved
to be attention grabbing. That's one way of telling a story quite straightforward in a way. You know, we hear the students, here's where they went, and we saw here's where they did research. This video we have here is another example. I'm going to let it play and load for a moment. So you'll notice this is a video that's done primarily with drones and a nice quality tripod. It may be professionally done, but it could be replicated, I think, with an iPhone, honestly, or with a mobile phone, because all of these shots are just simply well composed, well thought out, and nice and smooth. So if you've got a strong drone operator and a nice quality tripod that can pan and zoom with you, you could probably make something like this. There are also some very smart edits, not the craziest and most like technically amazing edits, but they're just super smart edits. We'll watch this for about a minute.
Dear Mrs. H, I'm writing to let you know that I am in good health and doing quite well here in Uppsala, Sweden. My studies are progressing beyond expectation, and I look forward to spending summer riding my bicycle in the old city. Did you know Old Uppsala was one of the mighty Viking capitals once? Quite remarkable. Last semester was, however, mostly spent studying within the walls of the university, the pride of Uppsala. As you might recall, I had some trouble deciding on where I should study, but eventually found that Uppsala University was Sweden's first and also one of the world's highest rated universities, and so far I do not hold any regrets. Students can be part of an innovative research environment, work closely with and learn from scientists and researchers at the forefront of their fields. 1/3 of the university's master students go on to do their PhD. My roommates, Jessica and Lisa, are in the last year now, loving this place so much they are trying to get their PhD just to stay in Uppsala for a few more years. And I don't blame them. My two friends Archie and Margot from yoga class were both drawn to the wide range of programs here, some of them very hands-on. Eventually, they found love under an electrically modified Volvo. They are both such creative thinkers.
So we've got a Wes Anderson wannabe, of course, that's in the style of, what the style of this video, and it's super well done, right? It's a great example of taking a concept of storytelling and making it interesting, fun, and different, right? So it's that letter to mom, that letter home that talks about campus life, campus culture, academic offerings, what that goes on to go to different parts of the campus. So it's a great example of a longer video that helps really inject storytelling into it. So we've talked about how the students themselves can be the generators of content. And if you're the content generator, this is a really fun approach to take with storytelling, adding story work out well. So one of the big benefits and reasons why here you're going to see is across all of these ads, search ads, display ads, video ads, social media ads, paid ads, other online ads, video ads turn in the best average conversion rate of the lot. Only organic traffic beats it. So video traffic that's not involving ads but comes to you organically or through perhaps Google search, that's going to be your better conversion rate overall all the time. But in terms of among the ads, the video ads turn in a better conversion rate because you're providing, and this is where we're going to get a little deeper, engaging, clear calls to action, or CTAs. Conversion being someone clicking on the ad. Conversion could mean someone filling out a form. It's going to define differently each time. But clearly, the video ads deliver better than the other advertising options. So we want to talk also about other places that your ads can be seen. So it's an ad that could be used in and of itself as an advertisement. In the left, though, we're going to show you the left is going to kind of walk through exactly how we found this ad and where we came upon it. And then in the right screen is going to be the video itself. So as we let the video play on the left, you're going to see that we're in LinkedIn, we're scrolling, and we see this promoted post. So we click on it, and it goes to the website for the school about this exact program. I'm scrolling down on the website. I see a lot of great copy that's nice and digestible in small groups. And then, boop, there's also the video that tells me, basically shows me more about this program. So now I'm going to play the video for you, and then we'll talk about it. All right, exciting, fun music, some great editing. That's all visible here. The one thing I find really interesting about this particular video is everything you see in the captions. These are all of the points that are made in the print on that web page. So you're saying the same thing twice for a reason, because some people will take it in and understand and comprehend it really well reading it from the web page. That may be their preferred method of, oh, I get it, oh, I understand, absolutely wonderful. Other people might see that and it just doesn't catch them. They can watch the video for 31 seconds, get the same points that you're making in the web page. You have different types of learners out there. This we all know, working in education. So this is a great way of putting your video in the funnel. So in the path of that person who saw the ad, they clicked on something, brought them to this page, that's where the video is. And that's where it's going to be perhaps most effective. So you could try the video as its own ad. You could also try it on this page and see which approach brings you more leads, more conversions, people filling out a form and saying, I want to learn more. So that's a great example of that.
Every day more, many companies are integrating sustainability into their operations. Since I graduated from a university, I've been involved in the renewable energy sector, and today I'm currently working as a business development in a solar energy company.
Oh, we'll go back to the freeze frame on her. This is just a great example of it's user generated, but you've got a little more control over it. So it's shot with her in a couch. She's dressed for success. She's in a studio to some degree. They're in front of a green screen. So there's some production going on here. There's also the actual student who's talking about the program, what she studied and what she's accomplishing now. She's now the business development manager. So it's a great combination of a lot of the different things we just talked about. User generated plus, I would say. Again, it's mobile optimized, it's vertical, and it's very clear. And then the content, the captions that you see on here, her words are her script, if you will, closed captioning is spelled out. So if someone's watching without audio, they can get the point. And it's also helpful in terms of the video's visibility in social search and being visible if there were a search. So a lot of examples, which are great. I want to talk more about the psychology behind why we do what we do. So we're going to take a break from the videos themselves. We'll start with a poll. Let's get back in the voting mode because we'd like to hear from you. What do you think makes user-generated content so effective for student recruitment? And keep in mind, we're thinking more about the psychology behind it. Do you think it's because it's authentic and relatable? Do you think it's because it builds trust, showcasing the real student experience? Is it the cost effectiveness, the sense of community? Maybe you're not sure, or maybe you think it's all of the above, which would kind of take away E, but be all of the other above. Please vote. It's all anonymous, so feel free to just throw toward us what you're thinking on this. It helps us to understand where you are, but it also helps you to see where others are thinking as well. So thank you for engaging. And okay, I think we can share those results. A majority of you say all of the above. And if there were such a thing as a right answer, it's true, because they're all true. A, B, C, and D are, in fact, part of the equation. But I want you to think of the 4 of you who said A, more authentic and relatable, and B, those 4 who said build trust by showcasing. It's important to understand that your school is unique in your marketplace, which is also unique. And there's not one universal answer here that's true across the board. You may be in a situation where authentic and relatable really is going to play best for your school, in your situation, in your marketplace, and in the brand and in the role you play in your community. In other schools, it may be about building trust and having people realize, wow, I've heard of that school. I didn't realize they were so darn great. This is awesome. So you may have different points that you want and need to communicate. I mean, take it back. What are your business objectives? And by that, when you're meeting with your administrators, with your boss, what are the goals and objectives that you've been asked to achieve as the marketing manager or person in charge of putting out this video online? And what you want to do is build videos that do either A or B or come in with C, depending on what is your ultimate objective there. So keep that in mind, that not every school is exactly the same. And I appreciate you engaging there, because it helps us really talk about that one point that that doesn't get said enough, I don't think, that how unique each school situation is. And this really just walks through each of those points, how emotions drive decisions. Those emotional connections significantly impact decision making. When they see peers sharing genuine stories, that has an impact upon them emotionally, because those stories are relatable, and that relatability of everyday experiences really helps you as a user connect, rather than idealized portrayals, which are really hard to connect with in many cases, and is very standard traditional approach. In short, we're shooting for authenticity over perfection. It doesn't have to be so standardized and idealized. It can be a little unpolished. When it's unfiltered and genuine, it's really more likely to connect. This is what we've seen in our video ads with schools across the board for the past year or more, really. And it goes through trends, right? It can trend in one direction or another, but certainly with the rise of the short form video, that's all everyone's doing online these days. That's where this authenticity over the perfection and the polish is going to win for you. There's also the element of FOMO, right? The fear of missing out. And to try to even engage a bit more on this, keep in mind, you don't just want to have a good video, you want to have captions on there that engage them, that drive them to don't miss out on campus life, or experience it yourself, or click here to join our open house. So you want to prompt them to engage them and take advantage of the elements of a video ad. You can add that call to action and link to an external URL. Then that's where you want to get people to go down the funnel, fill out a form, and convert. It's also really, in a nutshell, what we call social proof. And that really is to say there may be people talking on behalf of your school. There may be really polished, beautiful brochures going around. You may host events that show off your facilities in beautiful ways. But at the end of the day, you're going to have a prospective student saying, prove it, show me the results here. And social proof is really just sharing those stories on social media. And again, it takes us back to the user-generated content, because that's the best way to feature multiple people who say, yeah, it's all true. Yeah, my experience was awesome. Yes, I got the diploma, got my job. I'm very comfortable, and I'm so successful as a result of it. However you want to approach it, it's really going to come around and provide that social proof. All right, so let's tackle some challenges and solutions, and then we're going to wrap up. Challenge number 1, ensuring that content shared by students respects privacy and meets legal requirements. Solution, create a consent form. Create a simple consent form. You may already have one. It's really important that everyone who's going to provide user-generated content for you, they have signed this agreement. If you're creating one from scratch, I would recommend you go through your administration, perhaps even your legal folks, and maybe you have them on the board to help approve this through the school, that it's a sound document. But definitely build one of these and keep it simple. Make the writing simple on the one pager so that when people are asked to read it and sign it, they don't freak out. You also have a challenge sometimes of maintaining a cohesive brand image when you're asking a lot of other people to be a part of the content creation machine for you. Again, create a simple style guide, a one-pager, front and back if it's in print, or maybe just a document you can share online that talks about brand-approved colors, fonts, logos. Perhaps there are phrases that you want associated with your school, and there are phrases you don't want associated with your school. Feel free to share those too. What it'll allow them to do is have a structure from which to go. Because typically the way this goes is when you ask someone to do user-generated content for you, first they're excited and big smiles, and then the smile goes away and they're scared to death because they don't know what to do. They're not sure how to start. They've done great things in the past, but now they've got something new they've been asked to do, and that they freeze. This simple style guide will really help give them that structure and basically the first steps toward how to do what to do. And then lastly, the challenge of finding enough quality content to maintain a steady stream of content. Well, what we recommend there is to create, I call them buckets, and you space maybe one bucket a month or one bucket every 2 months and label it first week on campus, study spots on campus, or study spots in my life, student life in the winter, just some examples, so that you now have some categories that you can invite people to submit their entries, to submit their stuff if they want to show what's their favorite study spot or what's their first week on campus like. And if you space those out throughout the year, you could have a continuous incoming set of videos into your buckets, as you would. All right, so let's talk quickly about ROI, return on investment. Of course, this approach to UGC really brings expenses down because you've got maybe nothing that you're paying, or maybe you're just paying your students in swag for doing this for you, with you. So that's super cost effective. You can often edit it yourself. And as we've talked about, they deliver higher engagement. So just in general, you're going to see a better ROI. We're recommending that you really make sure that you apply that CTA to make sure your ROI is maximized. So you're not just showing them a fun video, you're showing them a fun video and asking them to engage, asking them to click here to take that next step, whatever that may be for you. And other options you have are A/B testing. So you could do shorter videos and then some longer videos and see which ones get more full watches, more clicks, more shares. You can do the same with caption style in all caps, big bold letters, or small ones. You could do fast-paced music or slow classical music. Do a few options out there and pay attention to the metrics to see which perform best. And then the other aspect of that is in your platforms. What we're recommending is you get most engaged in the platform of, perhaps one of these that's delivering the most engagement back to you. So if one of these 4 is really kind of falling flat, your videos are there, but they're not getting many watches, they're not getting many likes or shares. So you can do less on that platform in the future and do more on the platforms where the engagement truly is. So definitely make the most of your time. And lastly, looking at the metrics, this is in Meta, some groups of ads that talk about the school and the courses and the stories. These are without user-generated content. And you see for 25 days, we spent a total of $2,000 with about a 0.1% engagement rate of leads. These are folks who have clicked and they're your leads, and that led to a cost per lead at about $18. And then 25 days after we've introduced user-generated content, you've got $500 less of a spend so far in this 25 days. You've got a 50% jump in your engagement rate, in your number of leads captured as a result, which means you've got a cost per lead that's now almost half, right? It's $10 versus 18. So these are the types of metrics you want to look at and measure closely to see, is it working for you? So I'm going to leave it on key takeaways. I'm not really going to read through these because I think we've covered all those points. I am going to go over to Q&A to see if anyone's asked some fun questions. And then the other point I want to make here, and please feel free to type in your questions if you haven't already, is that we offer a free consultation. If it's something you want to dive deeper into, if you want to show us your videos and get my feedback, I'm happy to do that. Or if you just want to talk about strategy overall, perhaps how you've done it in the past and what you're thinking of in the future, we'd love to have that conversation for you. It's a lot of fun to do that. This is the way you can reach me. You can call or email me. And again, I'm working with our schools across Canada and the US, Eric's in Europe and the UK, if you're over there and it's late at night. Thank you for joining us, but I get it. So you kind of join the webinar where that works best for you. So please reach out and we can have a great conversation, a deeper conversation about how you're approaching video. Okay, someone writes in as a question, what is the number one thing, the most important thing in creating your own videos? Which, it's always hard to nail that down, but I'm going to give you an interesting one. The audio. My point being, if you do a video with somebody, let's say, as we've talked about, user-generated content, someone's telling their story. What's most important is that we can hear them clearly. Because, we talked about in one of those first slides that the typical attention span is 8 seconds. If the audio is hard to hear, they're not going to watch for more than 1 second. They're going to thumb right past you. So, invest in, and it doesn't take much, a lavalier mic that can plug into your iPhone. There's other ways to do it with video cameras, of course, but it's worth the investment to get an actual mic and not use the microphone on your phone itself. So if you're just getting started, that's one of the simplest ways you can go towards success. What would be a unique video idea to create or UGC to use if your school is online? That's a great question. So perhaps what I would do is I would begin with your instructors. I've taught some online courses myself. I've been an online student before. It's difficult to approach the students flat out because they're already a bit distant. As engaged as they may be, I would start with the people who are already members of your team. So have conversations first with your instructors about what's the class experience like? Do you have students who are most engaging, et cetera, et cetera? The first idea that comes to mind is to shoot it from the instructor's point of view so that you're literally in their home or wherever they host their class and looking at them, looking at their class, looking at them, looking at their class. Have them talk about how engaging a room it is, despite the fact that everyone's online. So that's an idea, and you could take it to an extended element if you have then a chosen student. So have the instructor recommend one of their students who's most engaging. Ask them to do a bit of a selfie version of that same experience of, hey, it's me. Hey, I'm in class. Here's the thing I love about class. Hey, I'm here in class. Test and play with those types of things. It's, again, it kind of gets you to the user-generated point of view, but it starts, don't make that first step super difficult, like going straight to this world of students who don't know you. Don't do that. Go to the teacher first. Here's a question from Broden. How many times per week are you encouraging your clients to post video content? Do you find there's better ROI with a higher quantity of posts or a higher quality of posts? I like how that's worded. So I'm going to say, if we're going to go to how many times per week, let's start with what can you realistically achieve? So don't try to do 3 videos per week if that's just going to put you back against the wall and you're going to not be able to do any of the other responsibilities you have. So set a calendar that's realistic for you. That's first. So start with 1 a week or 1 every 2 weeks. If you want, if you haven't even started yet, do 1 per month and get that first one done. It'll take a long time to do the first one. It'll take an hour or a couple of hours just to do the editing, just because you're getting used to it. The second month, maybe do 1 every 2 weeks, and then try to increase from there. And to answer the second part of your question, and we'll wrap it up here, I would go for quality over quantity every time. So don't just post for the sake of getting more out there. Post stuff that's good, that represents the school well, that represents your student body well. That's what's most important. Great questions. Thanks for your time. We've gone over time, but you've all stuck with me. You guys are awesome. Have a great rest of your afternoon. Thanks for joining us. Reach out if you want to talk video ads. Bye-bye. Have a good day.